Good morning. Happy spring. It is spring. March 21st. Fantastic. Our first spring meditating together. Good stuff. Let us set our intention by saying the Four Immeasurables prayer. May all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings not be separated from happiness that has never known suffering. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment, anger, and aversion. We will meditate. We'll do some reading. We'll do some chatting and questions and meditate again, like we always do. People been writing about like how much they should meditate, how long they should meditate, when they should meditate, where they should meditate. The best thing you could do is try to incorporate it into your daily routine in some way. In the morning, a lot of people do it. Most people, it seems, do it in the morning. Some people do it at night. It doesn't really matter when, but if you can really incorporate it into some kind of, around this time every day, you're going to sit, even if it's for a very short period of time. It's that regular habituation. I even think meditation translates as the word habituation in, it might be Tibetan or Sanskrit or something. So that really helps. And if you miss a day, or you're sick, or you're doing something important, you have to leave. Don't get crazy down on yourself if you can't. But it's like exercise or learning some kind of skill. The more regular you make it, I think the better the results, and kind of the easier it gets in a way. And length of meditation is really up to you, and your comfort zone. The fact that you meditate longer does not necessarily mean it's better or more effective or more whatever, you know what I mean? And try not to judge the quality of that day's meditative experience. I think that's an easy trap. Oh, I was so distracted today. I was so in it today. I was so connected today. I wasn't connected. It's those judgments are really kind of irrelevant. So with that in mind, let us sit. Let's do 11 minutes. I am not going through a detailed review today because we've been doing several of those in recent weeks. So let's do 11 minutes. I may talk. I probably will. If I do, just continue with your practice. Let's begin. Okay, great. Thank you. Just want to say that you should really, the fact that you are making an effort to meditate is no small feat, to get to this, whatever has brought you to this point in your life where you're making a commitment to learn meditation, practice meditation, work with the mind to tame the mind, means you're on a profound path that will culminate at some point, maybe not this lifetime, maybe several lifetimes in the future in enlightenment, where you can be of immense benefit to all beings. So it's no small commitment. So today we're going to read from an Instagram post, one of my favorite Instagram posts, Instagram sites for Buddhist teachings is Padma Mala, Padmamalla. And today we're reading something by Tenzin Palmo. Tenzin Palmo is a Tibetan Buddhist nun, but she's was born in the UK and spent, I think, 12 years in a cave in the Himalayas meditating. That's commitment, yeah. And she has vowed to attain enlightenment in the female form. So be it this lifetime or the next or the one after or whenever, she has vowed that she will attain enlightenment in the female form. So this, I'm reading this was posted 2 days ago. The basis of Buddhist ethics is that everything we do with our body, speech, and mind has results. Mind does not just mean intellect, it also includes the heart, because the foundation of the mind comes from the heart chakra, not from the intellect. The intellect is the brain of the computer, not the energy driving it. I'll read that again. The intellect is the brain of the computer, not the energy driving it. You know, when you do like prostrations, you go body, speech, and mind. Mind is here, not here. We are constantly planting seeds. Any actions motivated by ignorance, meaning confusion and delusion. Actions motivated by greed or grasping, anger or aversion will have negative results. It doesn't matter how we justify them to ourselves. Our justifications are not the point. The point is the true underlying motivation. Actions motivated by clear understanding, love, or generosity will have positive results. We are constantly writing our own script, and the results of all our actions will come to pass, either immediately or later on in this life or in future lives. Therefore, what is happening to us now is mostly the result of things we have done in the past, either during this lifetime or past lifetimes. It is how we respond to what is happening now that creates the future. We have total responsibility for everything in our lives. We can't blame anyone else. We are responsible for what's happening right now and for how we deal with it. Things happen to us and we respond to them. Whether we respond in a skillful manner and learn from them is not up to us. Buddhist ethics are about taking responsibility. I'm going to read that again. Whether we respond in a skillful manner and learn from them or not is up to us. Whether we respond to them in a skillful manner and learn from them or not is up to us. Buddhist ethics are about taking responsibility. We need to realize that in each moment we are molding our future. Again, we need to realize that in each moment we are molding our future. There's no one outside of us pulling the strings. There is no one to judge us. On one level, we judge ourselves from moment to moment, in the sense that whatever we do will produce results. If we plant good seeds, we'll have a good harvest. If we plant poisonous seeds, our harvest will be poisonous. That's fantastic. I'm going to read another teaching from the same Instagram site, Padma Mala. This is by the great Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, we've read from many times in this class. By the way, if you have any questions, you can type it into the Q&A feature on the toolbar. And if you're wondering, we've dismantled the chat during the class because it was distracting. So we have it should be running before the class so you can kind of recognize each other. But we're going to cut it out for during the class. Okay, this is by Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche. Anyone who is interested in hearing the truth, which in Buddhism we call the Dharma. Anyone who is interested in finding out about him or herself, anyone who is interested in practicing meditation is basically a warrior. Many approaches to spirituality and to life in general are influenced by cowardice. If you're afraid of seeing yourself, you may use spirituality or religion as a way of looking at yourself without seeing anything about yourself at all. When people are embarrassed by themselves, there is no fearlessness involved. However, if someone's willing to look at himself or herself to explore and practice wakefulness on the spot, he or she is a warrior. Warrior here is a translation of the Tibetan word pawo, P-A-W-O. Pa means brave. Wo makes it a person who is brave. The warrior tradition we are discussing is a tradition of bravery. You might have the idea of a warrior as someone who wages war, but in this case, we're not talking about warriors as those who engage in warfare. Warriorship here refers to fundamental bravery and fearlessness. Warriorship is based on overcoming cowardice and our sense of being wounded. If we feel fundamentally wounded, we may be afraid that somebody is going to put stitches in us to heal our wound, or maybe we have already had the stitches put in, but we dare not let anyone take them out. The approach of the warrior is to face all those situations of fear or cowardice. The general goal of warriorship is to have no fear, but the ground of warriorship is fear itself. In order to be fearless, first we have to find out what fear is. It's a little bit akin to what I was saying at the beginning of class today, that, making this commitment is big and important and something to be taken very seriously. I forgot to mention we're going to end a little bit earlier today as well, but we're going to go to some questions. Who inspired you to start meditating? I can't point to any one person that inspired me. It was more a general sense that I needed spiritual practice in my life, and I had always been drawn to Buddhism. But the first Buddhist teacher I took a class with was a man named Garchen Rinpoche. It was very funny because he had a center in New York. It was the first time I went to a Buddhist center. It was in downtown New York. And my wife and I went in for our first teaching, and we realized that it was a nightclub, bar, a very decadent, kind of crazy one that both of us had been to before we knew each other back in the 80s. It was almost like an after-hours club with all kinds of sex, drugs, and rock and roll and things like that. And now it was a Buddhist center. It's pretty wild. I make mistakes pronouncing some mantras in Sanskrit, but my intentions are pure. Do you think the intentions can make up for the technical mistakes until I learn mantra perfectly? Yes, absolutely. How were you impacted after seeing His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama? What amazed me, the first time I saw the Dalai Lama was at a big event in Switzerland. What impressed me most about him was, here's, basically a leader in one of the major religions in the world who opened up the arena to questions from the audience, very much like what we're doing today. They were not censored. They were not, he allowed people to ask him whatever they wanted. This is one of the most known figures on the planet. I think that was very courageous. To me, the Dalai Lama is really great proof and evidence of reincarnation, because um, when the 13th passed away, and they searched for the 14th, it was, the beginning of a very difficult, it was, several years before the most difficult time in Tibet's history, the communist invasion from China. And they found the Tulku, the reincarnation as a boy, and he's a Nobel Prize winner now. You know what I mean? It's that they definitely did some. They found the right person, and he was able to escape from Tibet and allow Tibetan Buddhism to flourish, and come to the West and become a person who's a symbol of peace and world peace, and beloved figure, and incredibly benevolent and intelligent, and something to think about. My mother passed away 2 weeks ago today, and I've had much difficulty meditating. I expect this to get better with time. I mean, your mother passed away 2 weeks ago is a huge event, and you have to allow yourself, to mourn. And we've talked about this a little bit, that grief, is basically an aspect of love, and mourning is a very natural process. I think you just need to be patient with yourself. So in Tibetan Buddhism, it's 7 weeks, they believe, is the Bardo period. So between rebirth. So your mother is in the Bardo for another 5 weeks, so you can make aspiration prayers that she be reborn, take positive rebirth, make aspiration prayers for that. Is there a difference between wakefulness and mindfulness? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, that's just an opinion, of mine, but mindfulness is mind being aware of mind, in my point of view, my practice. And that mind that can look at mind, that's the juice, that's the exciting place. A mind that's able to look at mind. Any personality traits, talents, anxieties brought over from past lives, or are they solely formed in this one? That's a really good question. I mean, karma is brought over from past lives, and I mean, when you see like a young kid, I mean, Mozart was writing operas when he was like 5 years old. I mean, that may come from a past life. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense that it's something that, he learned at 2, and mastered at 5 or something like that. The thing to always remember when you're talking about reincarnation is what gets reincarnated. That's the crux of the thing, because when we talk about emptiness, and when we talk about, if anyone wants to really go back into emptiness, the teaching with Dr. Vesna Wallace, which was was it 12? I forget. Emptiness refers to self. The self is not inherently existent. It's a kind of a compilation of things that we cobble together through our, attachment, and through our thoughts and things and through our experiences. So what exactly is being reincarnated is the key. It's not like this inherent soul or Michaelness that's going to go on to the next life. It's this, energetic positive and negative charge that's resultant of karma, and that karmic activity. Have you participated in any silent retreats? What are the challenges with staying silent for days? I don't think it's any challenge. I found it to be fantastic. The challenge is talking to people and having to communicate and be interrupted when you're doing retreats and stuff like that. But I found silent being fantastic and easy. No, I had no problem with that. Do you always meditate sitting on the floor? Well, the formal practice of meditation, yes, but I try to kind of drop into meditation whenever I can, walking down the street, walking in the park, standing, waiting for the subway. Do you ever struggle with shame when you have negative thoughts in waking life? How do you balance this, knowing we seek to solely plant good seeds in all actions? You can use, to recognize them just as thoughts and judgments, that there's no really inherent reality to them. And that takes practice as well. And it also takes focusing on being a benefit to other beings. It's practice, it really is. Because when you're struggling with shame, you're still you're actually connecting to the self. It's not like there's nothing selfless about shame. It's actually as selfish as pride, in a way. I'm interested in Buddhism, but one of the barriers between me is that it seems a large majority of leaders in Buddhism are male. Well, there's not a lot of leaders, and even the Dalai Lama, right? The individual teachers don't take like dictates from the Dalai Lama saying, now we're going to do this, and all the Tibetan Buddhist teachers have to do this. They're more connected to their own lineage. The Dalai Lama was traditionally both a political leader and a religious leader. He's abdicated all his political duties, and now is just a religious, leader of the Gelug lineage of Tibetan Buddhism. Although he's beloved by all the four schools of Tibetan Buddhism. But the individual teachers, they follow their lineage. So they're within their own tradition and within what they've been taught by their teachers. It's not like akin to like the Pope and the Vatican, and that the Vatican says this and then everybody does it. It's very different that way. So teachers are just teachers. They're not necessarily leaders, if that makes sense. And the reason why a lot of the teachers are male is really kind of a cultural thing, because a lot of the cultural traditions came out of patriarchal societies, and most Tibetan Buddhist teachers now just say that has absolutely no bearing on anything, and that it doesn't matter what gender a teacher is, as long as they're a teacher. Khandro Rinpoche is someone I've taken teachings with, who's, I think, one of the great living Tibetan Buddhist teachers. And she's fantastic. And we just read from Tenzin Palmo. I think now that Buddhism is worldwide and in the West, you will see more and more teachers of different genders, and it has nothing to do with whether or not it really has no bearing on the quality of anything, like everything else in life. It does not matter at all. I can't understand how a religion that seems so focused on equality has a gender imbalance. A gender imbalance, like I said, is cultural. It's something that the countries that it existed in were still, I think, trapped in certain, like most religions dealt with that. But those things are changing, As a musician, do you find there's almost a meditative quality to playing and practicing once you get in that zone? Yes and no. playing music is playing music. It's not meditation. Although I see, when we practice, and sometimes just when writing a song, you're kind of meditating on the song, but that's not meditation. It's just basically, being mentally absorbed in the song. Meditation is meditation, period, I think. I think that kind of level of concentration and absorption in it is very important. Have you ever gone through periods where you really struggle with meditation? Yeah, all the time. Or ever felt that it was almost impossible all the times? Very often. I've meditated for over 15 years, but still really struggle at times. Me too. I've been alive on the planet 55 years, and and sometimes I really struggle with it too. Do you ever do a mindfulness class? I mean, this is kind of mindfulness class in a way. What are your basic tips to practicing? I mean, that's what we do here, right? Tips to practicing. Oh, recommend routines? Yeah, do it in the morning after you have coffee. Do 10 minutes, do 20 minutes, do a half hour. Can each person be drawn more to one of the four teachings? I don't know what four teachings you're talking about. The four schools of Tibetan Buddhism, sure. I've taken teachings with lamas from all four, the Sakya, the Nyingma, the Kagyu, and the Gelug. The Kagyu, my teacher is the Drikung Kagyu, so even within the four, there's subgroups. Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. And all of you, if you're really interested in the Dharma and in Buddhism, I'm just a student who's answering these questions from stuff that I've been taught and learned, or what I've absorbed and what I'm able to interpret as correct. But these answers, to really get clarity on a lot of these deeper issues and questions, you have to study with an authentic lama. It's very important if you want to make progress in Buddhism. If you just want to learn to meditate, that's totally fine and can be very helpful. My goal is not to, convert people to Buddhism. It's just to offer that, possibility if people are interested. It's not. My purpose is not to change everybody into Buddhist. That's not the point. But if you are interested and really want to further your knowledge and progress, find an authentic teacher. Many or several of the students here have taken refuge and officially become Buddhists through Garchen Rinpoche and other lamas, which is fantastic. If you're so inspired to do that, and I think that's wonderful, and that's available now, and it's available online. You don't have to. Be in person because of quarantine, and COVID restrictions. 10:44. Okay, let's do 7 minutes and we'll close. One more, I'll say one more thing to the question about gender equality and lack of, historically female teachers or prominent teachers in Buddhism. The 17th Karmapa. Karmapa is a very high lama, akin to the Dalai Lama, and the current Dalai Lama is, he's old and we want him to live long, but the Karmapa, when the Dalai Lama passes, it's probably going to be the Karmapa that will be the, that kind of figurehead or the most prominent of the Tibetan Buddhist teachers, and he is very much uh, committed to gender equality in the monastic system, in the Lama system, in the world. He's also very committed to environmental uh, causes, vegetarianism. He is very forward thinking and cool and brilliant, and Tibetan Buddhism will be in good hands even after the Dalai Lama passes, because he is very special, as was his predecessor, the 16th Karmapa. So we're in good hands. The future is bright. Let's do 7 minutes. Okay. Okay. All right, let's dedicate. By this merit may all beings attain the state of enlightenment and conquer the enemies of faults and delusions. May they be liberated from this ocean of samsara and its pounding waves of birth, old age, sickness, or death. Thank you to Nick Solidio, our kind producer, for all his help. We'll see you next week, probably Sunday or Monday.